Chemical coordination and integration. You have already learned that the neural system provides a point-to-point rapid coordination among organs. The neural coordination is fast but short-lived, as the nerve fibers do not innervate all cells of the body and the cellular function need to be continuously regulated. A special kind of coordination and integration has to be provided. This function is carried out by hormones. The neural system and the endocrine system jointly coordinates and regulate the physiological function in the body. Endocrine gland and hormone. Endocrine gland lack duct and are hence called the ductless gland. Their secretion are called hormones. The classical definition of hormone as a chemical produced by endocrine gland and released into the blood and transported to a distantly located target organ has current scientific definition as follows. Hormones are non-nutrient chemicals which act as intercellular messenger and are produced in trace amount. The new definition covers number of new molecules in addition to the hormones secreted by the organized endocrine gland. Invertebrates possess very simple endocrine system with few hormones, whereas a large number of chemicals act as hormone and provide coordination in the vertebrates. The human endocrine system is described here. Human endocrine system. The endocrine gland and hormone producing diffuse tissue cell located in different parts of our body constitute the endocrine system. Pituitary, pineal, thyroid, adrenal, pancreas, parathyroid, thymus, and gonad testes in the male and ovary in the females are the organized endocrine bodies in our body. In addition to these, some other organs, example gastrointestinal tract, liver, kidney, heart also produce hormones. A brief account of the structure and function of all the major endocrine glands and hypothalamus of the human body is given in the following section. The hypothalamus. As you know, the hypothalamus is the basal part of the diencephalon forebrain and it regulates a wide spectrum of body function. It contains several groups of neurosecretory cells called nuclei which produce hormones. These hormones regulate the synthesis and secretion of pituitary hormone. However, the hormones produced by hypothalamus are of two types. The releasing hormone which stimulates secretion of pituitary hormones and the inhibiting hormone which inhibits secretion of pituitary hormone. For example, a hypothalamic hormone called gonadotropin releasing hormone stimulates the pituitary synthesis and release of gonadotropin. On the other hand, somatostatin from the hypothalamus inhibits the release of growth hormone from the pituitary. These hormones originate the hypothalamic neuron, pass through axon and are released from the nerve ending. These hormones reach the pituitary gland through a portal circulatory system and regulate the function of the anterior pituitary. The posterior pituitary is under the direct neural regulation of the hypothalamus. The pituitary gland is located in a body cavity called cellus turcica and is attached to hypothalamus by a stalk. It is divided anatomically into adenohypophysis and a neurohypophysis. Adenohypophysis consists of two portions, pars distalis and pars intermedia. The pars distalis region of pituitary, commonly called anterior pituitary, produced growth hormone, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, luteinizing hormone, and follicle stimulating hormone. Pars intermedia secretes only one hormone called melanocyte stimulating hormone. However, in humans, the pars intermedia is almost merged with pars distally. Neurohypophysis, pars nervosa, also known as posterior pituitary, store and release two hormones called oxytocin and vasopressin, which are actually synthesized by the hypothalamus and are transported axonally to neurohypophysis. To gigantism, over-secretion of GI stimulates abnormal growth of the body leading to gigantism, and low secretion of GI result in stunt growth resulting in pituitary dwarfism. Excess secretion of growth hormone in adults, especially in middle age, can result in severe disfigurement, especially of the face, called acromegaly, which may lead to serious complication and premature death if unchecked. The disease is hard to diagnose in the early stage and often goes undetected for many years until changes in external features become noticeable. Prolactin regulates the growth of the mammary gland and formation of milk in them. TSH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of thyroid hormones from the thyroid gland. ACTH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of steroid hormone called glucocorticoid from the adrenal cortex. LH and FSH stimulate gonadal activity and hence are called gonadotrophin. In males, LH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of hormones called androgen from testes. In males, FSH and androgen regulate spermatogenesis. In females, LH induces ovulation of fully mature follicle, Graafian follicle. The maintain the corpus luteum formed from the remnant of the Graafian follicles. After ovulation, FSH stimulates growth and development of the ovarian follicle in female. MSH acts on the melanocytes, melanin content cells, and regulates pigmentation of the skin. Oxytocin acts on the smooth muscle of our body and stimulates their contraction. In females, it stimulates a vigorous contraction of uterus at the time of childbirth and milk ejection from mammary gland. Vasopressin acts mainly at the kidney and stimulates resorption of water and electrolytes by the distal tubule and thereby reduce loss of water through urine diuresis. Hence, it is also called as antidiuretic hormone (ADH). An impairment affecting synthesis or release of ADH result in diminished ability of kidney to conserve water, leading to water loss and dehydration. This condition is known as diabetes insipidus. The pineal gland. The pineal gland is located at the dorsal side of the forebrain. Pineal secretes a hormone called melatonin. Melatonin plays a very important role in the regulation of 24-hour diurnal rhythm of our body. For example, it helps in maintaining the normal rhythms of sleep, wake, cycle, body temperature. In addition, melatonin also influences metabolism, pigmentation, the menstrual cycle as well as our defense capability. Thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is composed of two lobes which are located on either side of the trachea. Both lobes are interconnected with a thin flap of connective tissue called isthmus. The thyroid gland is composed of follicles and stromatal tissue. Each thyroid follicle is composed of follicular cell enclosing a cavity. These follicular cells synthesize two hormones, tetraiodothyronine or thyroxine and triiodothyronine T3. Iodine is essential for normal rate of hormone synthesis in the thyroid. Deficiency of iodine in our diet results in hypothyroidism and enlargement of thyroid gland, commonly called goiter. Hypothyroidism during pregnancy causes defective in development and maturation of the growing baby, leading to stunt growth, cretinism, mental retardation, low intelligence quotient, abnormal skin, depth, marxism, etc. In adult women, hypothyroidism may cause menstrual cycle to become irregular due to cancer of the thyroid glands or due to development of nodules of the thyroid gland. The rate of synthesis and secretion of the thyroid hormone is increased to abnormal high level, leading to a condition called hypothyroidism, which adversely affects the body physiology. Exothalamic goiter is a form of hypothyroidism characterized by enlargement of the thyroid glands, protrusion of eyeball, increased basal metabolic rate, the weight loss, also called Griff's disease. Thyroid hormone play an important role in regulation of the basal metabolic rate. These hormones also support the process of red blood cell formation. Thyroid hormone control the metabolism of carbohydrate, protein and fat. Maintenance of water and electrolytes balance is also influenced by thyroid hormones. Thyroid glands also secrete a protein hormone called thyrocalcitonin, which regulates the body blood calcium level. Parathyroid glands. In humans, 4 parathyroid glands are present on the back side of the thyroid glands, one pair each in the 2 lobes of the thyroid glands. The parathyroid glands secrete a peptide hormone called parathyroid hormone (PTP). The secretion of PTP is regulated by the circulating level of calcium ion. Parathyroid hormone increase the calcium level in the blood. PTH act on bones and stimulate the process of bones dissolution or demineralization. PTH also stimulates reabsorption of calcium ion by the renal tubules and increase the calcium ion absorption from the digest food. It is thus clear that PTH is a hypercalcemic hormone, that is, it increases the blood calcium level. Along with TCT, it plays a significant role in calcium balance in the body. Thymus. The thymus gland is a lobular structure located between lungs behind sternum on the ventral side of the aorta. The thymus plays a major role in the development of immune system. This gland secretes the peptide hormone called thymosin. Thymosin plays a major role in the differentiation of T lymphocytes, which provide the cell-mediated immunity. In addition, thymosin also promotes production of antibodies to provide humoral immunity. Thymus is degenerated in old individuals, resulting in a decreased production of thymosin. As a result, the immune response to old person become weak. Adrenal gland. Our body has one pair of adrenal glands, one at interior part of each kidney. The gland is composed of 2 types of tissues. The centrally located tissue is called the adrenal medulla, and the outside this lies adrenal cortex. Underproduction of hormones by the adrenal cortex alters the carbohydrate metabolism, causing acute weakness and fatigue, leading to a disease called Addison disease. The adrenal medulla secretes 2 hormones called adrenaline or epinephrine and non-epinephrine or non-adrenaline. These are commonly called catecholamines. Adrenaline and non-adrenaline are rapidly secreted in response to stress of any kind and during emergency situation and are called emergency hormone or hormone of fight or flight. This hormone increases alertness, pupillary dilation, piloerection, raising of hair, sweating, etc. Both the hormone increases the heartbeat, the strength of the heart contraction and the rate of respiration. Catecholamines also stimulate the breakdown of glycogen resulting in an increased concentration of glucose in blood. In addition, they also stimulate the breakdown of lipid and proteins. The adrenal cortex can be divided into three layers called zona reticularis, inner layer zona fasciculate, middle layer and zona glomerulosa, outer layer. The adrenal cortex secretes many hormones commonly called corticoids. The corticoids which are involved in carbohydrate metabolism are called glucocorticoids. In our body, cortisol is the main glucocorticoid. Corticoid which regulate the balance of water and electrolytes in our body are called mineralocorticoids. Aldosterone is the main mineralocorticoid in our body. Glucocorticoids stimulate glucogenesis, lipolysis and proteinolysis and inhibit cellular uptake and utilization of amino acid. Cortisol is also involved in maintaining the cardiovascular system as well as kidney function. Glucocorticoids, particularly cortisol, produce anti-inflammatory reaction and suppresses the immune response. Cortisol stimulates the RBC production. Aldosterone acts mainly at the renal tubules and stimulates the reabsorption of sodium ion and water and excretion of calcium ion and phosphate ion. Thus, aldosterone helps in the maintenance of electrolytes, body fluid volume, osmotic pressure and blood pressure. Small amount of androgenic steroids are also secreted by the adrenal cortex which plays a role in growth of axial hair, pubic hair and facial hair during puberty. Pancreas. Pancreas is a composite gland which acts as both exocrine and endocrine gland. The endocrine pancreas consists of islets of Langerhans. There are about 1 to 2 million islets of Langerhans in a normal human pancreas, representing only 1 to 2% of pancreatic tissue. The two main types of cells in the islets of Langerhans are called alpha cell and beta cell, and alpha cell secretes a hormone called glucagon while the beta cell secretes insulin. Glucagon is peptide hormone and plays an important role in maintaining the normal blood glucose level. Glucagon acts mainly on the liver cell hepatocytes and stimulates glycogenolysis, resulting in an increased blood sugar hypoglycemia. In addition, these hormones stimulate the process of glycogenesis, which also contributes to the hyperglycemia. Glucagon reduces the cellular glucose uptake and utilization. Thus, glucagon is hyperglycemic hormone. Insulin is a peptide hormone which plays a major role in the regulation of glucose homeostasis. Insulin acts mainly on hepatocytes and adipocytes, cells of adipose tissue, and enhance cellulose glucose uptake and utilization. As a result, there is a rapid movement of glucose from blood to hepatocytes and adipocytes, resulting in decreased blood glucose level, hypoglycemia. Insulin also stimulates conversion of glucose to glycogenesis in the target cell. The glucose homeostasis in blood is thus maintained jointly by the two insulin and glucagon. Prolonged hyperglycemia leads to a complex disorder called diabetes mellitus, which is associated with loss of glucose through urine and formation of harmful compounds known as ketone bodies. Diabetic patients are successfully treated with insulin therapy. Testes. A pair of testes is present in the scrotal sac outside abdomen of male individual. Testes perform dual function as a primary sex organ as well as an endocrine gland. Testis is composed of seminiferous tubule and stomatal or interstitial tissue. The Leydig cell or interstitial cell, which are present in the intertubular space, produce a group of hormones called androgen, mainly testosterone. Androgen regulates the development, maturation and function of the male accessory sex organ like epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, urethra, etc. These hormones stimulate muscular growth of facial and axillary hair, aggressiveness, low speed of voice, etc. Androgen play a major stimulatory role in the process of spermatogenesis, formation of spermatozoa. Androgen act on the central neural system and influence the male sexual behavior, libido. These hormones produce anabolic synthetic effect on protein and carbohydrate metabolism. Ovary. Females have a pair of ovaries located in the abdomen. Ovary is the primary female sex organ which produces one ovum during its menstrual cycle. In addition, ovary is produced two groups of steroid hormones called estrogen and progesterone. Ovary is composed of ovarian follicle and stromal tissue. The estrogen is synthesized and secreted mainly by the growth ovarian follicle. After ovulation, the ruptured follicle is converted to structure called corpus luteum, which secretes mainly progesterone. Estrogen produces wide-ranging action such as stimulation of growth and activities of female secondary sex organ, development of growing ovarian follicle, appearance of female secondary sex characteristic, example high pitch of voice, etc. Mammary gland development. Estrogen also regulates female sexual behavior. Progesterone supports pregnancy. Progesterone also acts on the mammary gland and stimulates the formation of alveoli, sac-like structure which store milk and milk secretion. Hormones of heart, kidney and gastrointestinal tract. Now you know about the endocrine gland and their hormones. However, as mentioned earlier, hormones are also secreted by some tissue which are not endocrine gland. For example, the arterial wall of our heart secretes a very important peptide hormone called atrial natriuretic factor (ANF), which decreases blood pressure. When blood pressure is increased, ANF is secreted, which causes dilation of the blood vessel. This reduces the blood pressure. The juxtaglomerular cell of kidney produces a peptide hormone called erythropoietin, which stimulates erythropoiesis formation of RBC. Endocrine cells present in different parts of the gastrointestinal tract secrete four major peptide hormones, namely gastrin, secretin, cholecystokinin, and gastroinhibitory peptide. Gastrin acts on the gastric gland and stimulates the secretion of hydrochloric acid, and pepsinogen secretin acts on exocrine pancreas and stimulates secretion of water and bicarbonate ion. CCK acts on both pancreas and gallbladder and stimulates the secretion of pancreatic enzyme and bile juice respectively. GIP inhibits gastric secretion and motility Several other non-exocrine tissue secrete hormone called growth factor. These factors are essential for normal growth of tissue and their repairing regeneration. Mechanism of hormone action. Hormone produce their effect on target tissue by binding to specific protein called hormone receptor located in the target tissue only. Hormone receptor present on the cell membrane of the target cell are called membrane bound receptor, and receptor present inside the target cell are called intercellular receptor. Mostly nuclear receptor present in the nucleus. Binding of a hormone to its receptor leads to formation of hormone receptor complex. Each receptor is specific to one hormone only, and hence receptors are specific. Hormone receptor complex formation leads to certain biochemical changes in the target tissue metabolism, and hence physiological function are regulated by hormones on the basis of their chemical nature. Hormone can be divided into groups: 1. Peptide, polypeptide, protein hormones, insulin, glucagon, pituitary hormone, hypothalamic hormones. 2. Steroid, cortisol, testosterone, estradiol, and progesterone. Iodo, 9. Thyroid hormones. Amino acid derivative, epinephrine. Hormone which interact with membrane-bound receptor normally do not enter the target cell but generate second messenger. Example: cyclic AMP, IP3, calcium ion, etc., which in turn regulate cellular metabolism. Hormone which interact with intercellular receptor, steroid hormone, iodothyronine, etc., mostly regulate gene expression or chromosome function by the interaction of hormone receptor complex which with the genome. Cumulative biochemical action result in physiological and developmental effect.